Hebrews. This Prophets of Awakening. This is our Women's Advanced Bible Study night, the 7th of March, 2022. For the topic for discussion for later on is going to be the Giants, and just another look, some more stuff I found out, and I was following up on the comments that somebody asked me to elaborate on that. So I'm saying like, share, subscribe to Prophets of Awakening channel, and hit the notification button if you can. This is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh, which is the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by the Lord of Hosts on Mount Sinai. So shalom and welcome everyone to Prophets of Awakening channel, and welcome to our Women's Advanced Bible Study. We're going to do our moment of silence and prayer, our Psalms. We're going to do some women's health report, and we're going to do current events. And then we'll go into the Q&A, and then go into the lesson. Okay? So with that being said, I was going to do a prayer. Okay. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servant David and Solomon, Samuel and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad, for you possess the power to do so. For we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, and to keep your commandments and your testimonies and your statutes with all our heart and soul, to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon us. Hear our plea. Hear and do, O Lord, and hide not thy face from us any longer, for we need you so very much at this hour. Peace be on you. Okay. Let me read the Psalms. Oh, you got the Psalms? Somebody got the Psalms? Okay.
Yes. Shalom. I'm going to read on Psalm 51.
Okay.
It's the Psalm of David.
Okay.
Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness, according unto the multitude of thy tender mercies. Blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquities, and cleanse me from my sin. For I acknowledge my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against thee, thee only, have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest. Behold, I was shapen in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, thou darest through in truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden part thou shalt make me to know wisdom. 7. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Hide thy face from my sins, and blot out all my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit. 13. Then will I teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners shall be converted unto thee. Deliver me from blood guiltness, O God, thou God of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of thy righteousness. O Lord, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall show forth thy praise. For thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offering. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. O God, thou wilt not despise. 18. Do good in thy pleasure unto Zion. Build thy build build thou the walls of Jerusalem. Then shalt thou be pleased with the sacrifices of righteousness, with burnt offerings and whole burnt offerings. Then shall thy then shall they offer bullocks upon thy altar. That was Psalm 51.
Okay. Yeah, well, I wanted to shine a light verse 2 and verse 9. It says, I think it goes over, get passed by a lot of people they don't focus in on. Verse 2 says, wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity and cleanse me from my sin, right? So it's David talking to the Lord of hosts, our Redeemer. In 9, hide thy face from my sin. So twice he asked him to deal with the sin. He says, hide thy face from my sins and blot out all mine iniquities, right? And create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. So you go to Zechariah chapter 6 when he had to gather his two anointed ones in order to leave Babylon, and he got Joshua was a high priest, and he had to get Zerubbabel, king that's out of David lineage. So he comes to he sends Zechariah to uh, Joshua in chapter 3, and he says, and he showed me Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, and Satan standing at the right hand to resist him. And the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord rebuke thee, O Satan, even the Lord that hath chosen Jerusalem rebuke thee. Is not this a brand plucked out of the fire? Now Joshua was clothed with filthy garments and stood before the angel. Then 4. And he answered and spoke this angel. See that? He's standing before an angel, not Yahweh, it ain't Jesus. Verse 4. And he answered and spake unto those that stood by, this the other 6 before him, saying, take away the filthy garment from him. And unto him he said, behold, here we go, behold, I have caused thy iniquity, thy sin, to pass from thee, and I will clothe thee with a change of raiment. See that? So that's a whole nother understanding on being cleansed from the New Testament. So that David asking them to do right here what he just done to Joshua. That's what David asking him. He says in Psalm 51, in verse 2, wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. Then he said the same thing in verse 9. Hide thy face from my sin and blot out all mine iniquities. See that?
Right.
So,
And he was not making any excuses either for
right,
his sins. He knew,
right.
yeah.
You know he had sin, and you know this angel had the ability to blot him out.
Right.
So we don't need nobody to come and die on the cross and all that. When the Redeemer right here, he blotting out sin, because know what's going on. That,
Right.
that, that's what he's talking about in Ezekiel 37 when he bring us back, because we've been over here, we've been disconnected from the land for 2,500 years. We filthy. We think we think Joshua filthy. We seriously filthy. So that's what he means in Ezekiel 37, 23, 24, and 25, saying that he's going to cleanse us. He's going to do what I just showed you. Yeah. So I want to shine a light on that. Anybody else have anything on Psalms 51? Okay. Got some, we're going to do the women's health, and then we'll go into some current events.
Okay, let's see. Um, I was just talking. I don't know, we talked about it a while ago about um just things I'm learning about fluoride, and we know that it's not. I mean, they say that it's beneficial to your teeth, and adding it prevents cavities and things like that, but it's more of a risk than a benefit.
Right.
and they were saying added fluoride causes cardiovascular problems, um, including arterial calcification, so that's calcium in your arteries, which contributes to high blood pressure because if the blood's not able to flow, it's just like calcifying your arteries and any with other things that cause plaque in your arteries.
Right.
So we were talking about high blood pressure before. So it causes high blood pressure, cardiac insufficiency, resulting in heart failure and damage. It also has it causes reproductive issues. A lot of people, you know, in the past several years, just I don't think they had these issues in the past before they started doing that. It might be partly because they've added it to all our water systems.
Right.
So reproductive issues, lower fertility, and early puberty with girls, and we know that's happening. They were saying it was the milk, but could also be the water.
Right.
Causes thyroid dysfunction, and it causes osteoporosis and conditions affecting the joints and the bones. So just all of that, and then of course the one that really got me was neurological problems, and they think it's possibly a contributor to ADHD. And we have an increase with ADHD in students and you know people these days, just in general. So I'm just thinking about I was looking up the best water to drink. We know it's not tap water because it's the fluoride and all the other chemicals they put in the water to clean it and to supposedly increase our health by adding this fluoride. But they were saying even not to swallow, like when you're brushing your teeth, don't even swallow the water because it has so many different things that could be affecting your health in it.
Right.
But the healthiest water to drink, well, they were just saying it's water is so critical to our bodies in order for them to function properly. It keeps us hydrated and it supports all of our organs. Most people need at least 4 to 6 glasses a day to avoid dehydration, but everybody's different. Some may require more depending on health conditions and what activities they're doing. But water is essential. Different types of water, including tap spring, mineral water, distilled water, with mineral water and alkaline water, they're saying being the healthiest.
Okay.
So yeah, just be careful and drink safely and try to not drink contaminated water by definitely not drinking, tap water, water at water fountains in public places. And that's to include the things they use when they make different things at restaurants, like, the Coke products, they're not giving us the best water with that. And the you know the lemonades and teas, you got to think they're using tap water at these fast food places too. So just gotta just be conscious of your water intake and the harm it could be doing to your body. And then the scripture verse that kind of to me fit this was Exodus 23:25. It says, "And ye shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and will take sickness away from the midst of thee." And that's it for our health notes for today.
Okay. Yeah. That was good. Another thing about that fluoride is it attacks the pineal gland too.
Oh yeah, right.
It calcifies the pineal gland. That's one of the major things about it.
Yeah.
And Hitler the one introduced that. It dumbs down the population.
Hitler. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Hitler, just Google Hitler and fluoride.
That makes sense now.
Right.
Sterilizing, causing fertility, and causing neurological and heart damage. Yeah.
Right. Directly at us. Uh-huh. Anybody else have any comments on that?
I was, did you mention that it can be discoloration of the teeth?
Yeah, I saw that's the least that it could do. Yeah, I
Exactly.
did see that. That it's supposed to be preventing cavities, but then it does. It does cause your teeth to be discolored. Yeah, that was one of the things they mentioned.
Yeah.
Wow, that's something.
That's them at work again. Like I said, they tell you one thing, but it's the opposite. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's like
Those
milk.
that,
How you gonna drink
yeah,
cow milk? Cow milk is for a baby cow. You know, it's crazy.
right. I
Hmm.
And
guess
they have the nerve to charge you extra if you want fluoride treatments at the dentist's office. And then they bring in the, fluoride treatments to the kids at school.
at school,
Right.
right?
Just loading them up with that
Yeah.
fluoride tablets and things like that.
You did something. Right. You did something. Yeah. So going to current events.
What did you say? Did you say something?
Me?
Yeah, I thought I heard.
Yeah, I said I was going to do current events.
Okay.
Hmm.
What panic looks like. Let me show you a video from China.
It's today. So you know what's next. It's coming here.
This is China's Guangzhou. This video is from last week. It was recorded at the China International Beauty Expo. One attendee at this expo tested positive, one person. So Chinese officials did what they do best. They raised an alarm, shut down everything, and forced everyone to take a Wuhan virus test. That's why these people were running in panic. Textbook case of what not to do. But this is becoming the norm in China. Day after day, city after city, hundreds, if not thousands of people are lining up for tests. The Chinese establishment is overwhelmed by the crowds. They're struggling with Omicron. More than 50 million people are under lockdown. 50 million people in China locked down. The scale of this outbreak is massive. At least 13 cities have shut down. China suddenly feels the need for new hospitals. Look at this. In Jilin, Beijing is trying to build a makeshift hospital with 6,000 beds. In Shanghai, even food delivery is proving to be a challenge. Barriers have been erected outside residential compounds. 17 million people are under lockdown in this city alone. China is already counting its losses. The lockdowns will hurt half of the country's GDP. Exporters are worried about supply chains. Trucks are delayed because the drivers have to take tests. Container rates have spiked, tripled compared to last year. Ships are facing delays at ports, delays of up to 12 hours. That's because China is locking down again. It's 2020 all over again in China. How bad is this outbreak? The worst ever. Worse than what we saw in Wuhan in 2020. This is China's worst Wuhan virus outbreak. On average, the country is reporting more than 2,000 infections every day. But as always, the numbers do not add up. As of Tuesday, 28 out of 31 provinces in China had confirmed cases. The virus has spread to almost all parts of the country, which means the number of cases is bound to be more than what the official data claims. What's worse, Beijing's old pandemic playbook is multiplying the misery. I'm talking about the zero COVID strategy. China has not changed its methods since 2020. So even if there's one suspected case, everyone in the city is tested. China held it up as an example for the world. It's still an example. But now it's an example of what not to do. Zero COVID has had zero success. Let me show you. This is the same convention center in Guangzhou that we just showed you. The one where just one attendee tested positive. Just one. I want you to look at the chaos it led to. Thousands of people caged inside a convention center waiting for a negative Wuhan virus test. Is this the best way to handle an outbreak?
Okay. Any comments?
Wow, that's something. I was reading an article where it says that the government is going to take tougher measures to get it under control. So it's going to be some major changes coming about, and like it was saying about the supply,
Right.
it's going to hurt us.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah. So that tell you right there, they know something coming for them to say they're gonna have tougher measures. They got to know something coming to say that.
Mhm.
Is there something? And this place can't stand another. Not, it can't go back to 2020 and all the chaos that happened with that. It's a jump off of that right there.
Is grappling with a new Wuhan virus outbreak. It is reporting thousands of new cases every day as many as 10 cities in China are under lockdown. In the West, Europe is reporting a big spike. New infections are on the rise in at least 5 countries. Are we looking at another global wave of the Wuhan virus? Our next report has the numbers.
China's latest Wuhan virus outbreak is getting bigger. The Chinese tech hub of Shenzhen is the latest hotspot. A partial lockdown has been announced. Most businesses have been closed. All of the city's 17 million residents will now undergo a test. They aren't the only ones who are suffering. China is facing its worst outbreak in 2 years. As many as 10 cities are under lockdown. 20 of the 31 provinces have confirmed infections. Like always, data on daily cases seems like an undercount. Officially, China reported just over 2,000 new cases today. Omicron has exposed the weaknesses of China's zero-COVID strategy. The Communist Party's local leadership is struggling to contain new infections. Already, some officials have been dismissed. The mayors of Jilin and Jiutai have been shown the door. Beijing didn't specify why they were dismissed, but in both regions, new infections are rapidly expanding. The outbreak in Hong Kong still remains a matter of concern. The city still remains in the grip of a deadly Omicron surge. In recent days, Hong Kong has reported the highest daily death toll in the world. The Wuhan virus is spreading fast among the most vulnerable. 70% of all elderly homes are now dealing with an outbreak. Hong Kong's chief executive, Carrie Lam, still doesn't want to impose a lockdown.
For the time being, I would say we are not thinking of increasing social distancing measures because the current social distancing measures in place are already the toughest in 2 years. I have to consider whether the public would accept further measures. So we would not just casually roll out further social distancing measures. But still, I want to appeal to people. Now is not yet the time to let down our guard.
China is now the biggest hotspot in the East. Another wave of infections is sweeping the West too. Europe is quickly becoming a hotspot. The United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, and Italy all reported an upswing in new cases last week. In Austria, the Netherlands, and Switzerland, more than 3,000 people are testing positive per 1 million. There is a spike in hospitalizations, too. In Ireland and the United Kingdom, more than 100 patients are being admitted for every 1 million citizens. What is driving the surge in Europe? Is it Omicron or a new variant? It is difficult to say right now. But a new variant of the virus has been detected in France. It is called Deltacron. This variant is a hybrid of the Omicron and Delta variants. There is not enough data to fully understand Deltacron, but the world needs to brace itself for another Wuhan virus surge.
Okay. Just like clockwork. Any comments on that?
I noticed they're not reporting. They're reporting that they're testing positive for it, but they're not testing death like they were before. So I'm just wondering, because that last one, the the Delta one that was supposed to come right after the initial one, it was more contagious, but people didn't, you didn't have all these hospitalizations that they had initially with the first one. So I'm wondering, if they're testing positive, what symptoms are they having? Because you're not hearing anything really about deaths over there yet,
Right.
anyway.
Exactly. You did some? Yeah. Okay. Is anybody got any? We're gonna go into Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments or anything about something they want to talk about for a minute before we go into the topic for discussion? Okay, let me see what I got right here. Yeah, I'm gonna play this right here and then. Okay.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Demetra K of the Demetra K Show here on YouTube and a proud contributor of the African Diaspora News Channel. If you could please do me a favor and subscribe to all channels and like this video, I would greatly appreciate it. So just recently, the Griot published an article talking about a letter that was released from the Department of Health and Human Services, basically talking about where the campaign money went for COVID-19. Now, when I say campaign money, they gave different media outlets, so let's say black and white media outlets, money to educate black people about the COVID-19 pandemic and the vaccines and all of that, right? Now, it was discovered that white-owned media that targeted black audiences received about $45 million, and black-owned media outlets that targeted black audience received about $20 million or so. When Congressman Hank Johnson got wind of that, he addressed the Biden administration and he said this: unfortunately, the failure of the federal government to spend COVID-19 advertising dollars with black-owned media and advertising firms is simply the continuation of a problem that has existed for years. We appreciate that your administration met with leaders in black-owned media to discuss this topic in early 2021. However, we are not aware of any action that resulted from this meeting, and the problem continues to undermine black-owned businesses. Okay, so he's like, great, you talk to people like Roland Martin and all those type of people, and I'm going to get into that in just a second, but we don't really see any real changes, right? And so the executive order 13170 that was put in place by that of Bill Clinton, that ensures that businesses and minorities, I should say, not really black businesses, but minority businesses should get money without discrimination, right? And so that executive order was removed by Bush and then put back by Barack Obama, and then it was removed by Trump, right? And so here we are with the Biden administration. All right, and so as I continue reading the article, I learned a few things. All right, and so then let me go to this. So he also says the federal government has historically failed to spend federal dollars with black-owned media and advertising firms, which have led to messaging not being effectively disseminated to the black community. Well, when I hear that, I'm like, well, what messaging are you really speaking of, right? Because whenever I turned on the radio or and went on YouTube and saw certain platforms, I'm like, well, they keep talking about certain things over and over again, like taking the vaccine and the COVID-19, black people need to do this, black people need to do that. So I'm not really quite sure what messaging he's talking about. But this is who got that money from the Department of Human and Health Services. Check this out. So it says, that is shared in the HHS letter response to Congressman Johnson revealed that corporate white-owned media like BET by Viacom, Spotify, Oprah Winfrey Network, majority owned by Discovery, and even morning radio show The Breakfast Club, owned by iHeartMedia, which all targeted black audiences, have raked in tens of millions of dollars more than Black-owned media. Now listen to the words there. They said more than Black-owned media. Well, on the surface, you would think, well, aren't those Black-owned media? No, they are Black people who work for white-owned media. And so they got most of the money, right? So, of course, you know, your African diaspora news channels and even my channel and a whole host of other real Black media, they didn't get any of that money. Well, we know why, because of the certain things that they were pushing, right? And so, of course, you guys know that Roland Martin, he admitted that he got some money from the census, right? $250,000. And he, you know, was very vehement about it per the article from the Griot, but I don't know if he got any more money. But now it's all starting to make sense, right? Now we have this on Black and white that certain media outlets, not Black, even though they have Black faces, they got money to sell you guys on certain messaging, right? Like that of the COVID-19, the vaccine, and, you know, the Democratic Party or whatever the case is, or whatever party really would be in office. But they got that money. And so, again, we ain't getting none of that money here. And you know why we ain't getting none of that money? Because they don't want the messages that we send out to get out to people, not to our people. Because if we get that kind of money to really get the message out, we're going to wake a whole lot of our people up. And you could best believe they don't want that at all. They pay people like Roland Martin, butter biscuits, checks to keep Black people asleep, to sing the praises of, you know, the Democratic Party and do this and do that. He ain't going to go against the grain, but they know if they gave us that money, we'd be like, we're going to say what we want to say around here. Otherwise, keep your money. So I hope that all makes sense to y'all now. So anyway, y'all, for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel.
Okay. Any comments on that? Okay, no comments? Okay, so yeah, well, we see what they did. All they did was gave the money to that's where the money went. Disappeared, they got it. White folks got it. And then all they did with it was just reinforced us taking the vaccine. No, you know, like she said, no Blacks got no Black-owned businesses or no Black folks got none of the money. They just got richer. That's all that happened. We ain't seen none of it. Okay, is there something? Okay, so with that being
That's
said,
what they always do.
right, exactly. They're always gonna find a way to trick it off and throw us in the cross. They're setting us up right now with the Ukraine thing. All you see them doing is praising the Ukrainians. All set. You did something? Yeah, so we like I said, I'm dealing with these giants, and with I got some more information and doing some laser focusing on it because you know this information had to be, you know, it's got to be rightly divided. So what I'm gonna do at the beginning, because you got some people out there, believe it or not, don't even believe that there was no giants. So I'm gonna read chapter 6, the first Genesis chapter 6, the first 5 verses of chapter 6 says, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw that the daughters of men, this is important right here, that the sons of God saw that the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. These are angels. Sons of God are angels. 3, the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years old. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when okay, let's see. Yeah, after that, when the sons of God came in into the daughters of men, and they bore children unto them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of now. Right? And so we know that in the book of Enoch, it comes out and they give us the names. You know, read a little bit of that couple of verses. So they give us the names, you know. And this is what you know, most people don't realize. So let me get it. So I mean, okay. Mhm. So what the book of Enoch is telling you is, uh, here you go, chapter 6 in the book of Enoch also, and it says, verse 6 says, they were in all 200, these angels, fallen angels, which descended on the days of Jared, Enoch's father, uh, days of Jared, on the summit of Mount Hermon. And they called it Mount Hermon because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual implications upon it. These are the names of their leaders. So he's telling you the names. This is in Enoch, chapter 6, verse 7 says, these are their names. Shemjaza, I can't say the names, like their leader, Archabah, Ramiel, Kabiel, Kamiel, I can't say those names, but they give you all the names right here. Unlike in the New Testament, they don't, this is always cyborg, it's nothing specific, But anyway, we tell you their names and what they came down and they slept. No, it's not no aliens and all that. We know point blank.
Can y'all hear me? Did we just lose Leonard?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
so he just okay.
Hear you.
Hopefully he'll be able to hop back on.
Wow.
Okay. Y'all hear me?
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I got bad weather down here. It's messing with my signal. It just came back in. So if we go out again, I'm just gonna call it. But so I had just read Enoch chapter 6, and I was showing about the 200 angels and their names and all that. And so it's, like I said, they tell you their names. These angels is we made in their image. So they came down. That's why they was able to take daughters of men and go into them because of we made in their image. And then so that, like I said, it was a race of giants, which they look like men because their fathers look like men. So that's a whole nother bloodline. That's contrary. The Most High tells you in Genesis chapter 6 that spirit that's in those uh, beings and giants didn't come from him. So how can you come back and tell me that it's all one blood? And he got a son, or a man in heaven that was ordained from the beginning to die because everybody ascended from Adam. So that's they don't add up. And like I say, we don't do no critical thinking when it comes to that. They don't add up. So with that being said, I want to show you something that's, like I said, a lot of people don't really focus in on, and that's nobody asked that question. Well, where does fire red hair come from? These people, you spot them over here, you see them here and there. Where they come from? It's the fire red hair. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, let me show you this. Keep in mind, it's a reason why I told you about the little boy they got in the and they got on the murals all over in the banks and all over Colorado. So here we go. Play this one here first. Like I said, they showing you, they putting it right in your face, and we know what's going over our heads. Okay, start out with this one right here. There go that weather again. Can you see that? Can you see that?
Yeah, it just showed up. Mm-hmm.
See that right there? Let me get back. Let me get it. Okay. I'm gonna go back right quick. See that right there? See that red hair? See that? They ain't no normal skull. So this red hair tied to these giants. It's tied to the giants. That's why it's totally different than any other people, here the people, it's tied to these giants. Right? So keep that in mind. See that? They're showing it to us every day, but we ain't going over our head. See? It's a condor giant.
In
In
1848,
1848,
President
President
Abraham
Abraham
Lincoln
Lincoln
visited the
visited the
Niagara
Niagara
Falls,
Falls,
and he
and
was
he was
so
so
impressed by
impressed
the
by the
beauty of
beauty
this
of this
natural
natural
wonder
wonder
that he
that he
wrote
wrote
down
down
some
some
notes,
notes,
including the
including the
following.
following.
When
When
Columbus
Columbus
first
first
sought
sought
this
this
continent,
continent,
when
when
Christ
Christ
suffered
suffered
on the
on the
cross,
cross,
when
when
Moses
Moses
led
led
Israel through
Israel
the
through the
Red
Red
Sea,
Sea,
nay,
nay,
even when
even when
Adam
Adam
first came
first
from
came
the
from the
hand of his
hand of his
Maker,
Maker,
then as
then as
now,
now,
Niagara was
Niagara
roaring
was
here.
roaring here.
The eyes of
The
that
eyes of that
species of
species of
extinct
extinct
giants,
giants,
whose bones
whose
fill the
bones fill
mounds
the
of
mounds of
America,
America,
have
have
gazed on
gazed on
Niagara
Niagara
as ours
as
do
ours do
now.
now.
So let's look at that. Like I was just telling you, this is what Lincoln said. So, like I said, you're Edomite, and like I said, that's another thing we hadn't dealt with. All along, these people been dealing with scriptures. Everything they do is dealing with scriptures. So he says, when Columbus first sought this continent, right? Columbus, that's an Edomite, sought this continent. See that? When Christ suffered on the cross, when Moses led Israel through the Red Sea, Nay, even when now, here we go. Even when Adam first came from the hand of his maker, right? Then as now, Niagara was growing so. So he's saying Adam, which we know is formed, right? Then you go the eyes of that species. That's two different entities. So how in the hell is everybody descended from Adam? See that? Even when Adam first came from the hand of his maker, so this Adam is one species. Then he says right here, and the eyes of that species of extinct giants, they're different, they're separated. Whole different bloodline, blood lineage, and all that, blood type, everything. So how he got a son that he already got in the book of life that was ridiculous, going hidden in the beginning. That's a lie. Okay, keep going.
During the 19th century, there were many accounts of unnaturally large skeletal remains discovered in the ancient burial mounds scattered across North America. Today, not a single news media has ever mentioned a thing about ancient giants or past discoveries. If a giant skeleton is discovered somewhere, it would most certainly be classified and hidden from the public. It wasn't like that in the 19th and early 20th century, though. Almost every year, there were at least a few newspaper headlines stating the discovery of ancient giant skeletons. It seemed to be quite normal to find bones of giants in America when the first settlers dug ancient mounds to prepare for roads, farms, and buildings. The New York Times, in particular, wrote many newspaper articles about the discoveries of giants. Let's read through some of them, starting with this one titled The Bones of a Giant Found, which was published on May 25, 1882, and reads, A skull of heroic size and singular formation has been discovered among the relics of the mound builders in the Red River Valley.
Show you how serious they are. Look down there. Can you see the image? Can you see the photo?
Yes.
Look in there. Look at the one in the middle with all the other bones around it. Look at his head.
Mm-hmm.
See that? They're going out their way to make sure they're showing you they're radiated. See that? You see that?
Yes.
Okay.
The mound was 60 feet in diameter and 12 feet high. Near the center were found the bones of about a dozen men and women mixed with the bones of various animals. The skull in question was the only perfect one, and near it were found some abnormally large body bones. The man who bore it was evidently a giant. A thorough investigation of the mound and its contents will be made by the Historical Society. Another newspaper from May 5, 1885 reads this. Last week, a small mound near Homer was opened by some schoolboys who found a skeleton.
Let me show you something else right quick.
A thorough investigation.
Look at this right here. Now go back to the story of Esau, right? Just another thing we glaze over. So he says that in order for him to fool Esau, it's like this been hidden. And also, in order for him to fool Isaac about Esau, right? He said he had to go get some garments, hairy garments, and put them on his hands and all that because Isaac was going, he knew the smell of Esau. So in order for Jacob to fool him, he had to put on the clothing that Esau wore, Esau garments, right? Hello?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So look at this giant. Watch this, see what he got on.
Investigation of the mound and its contents will be made by the.
Didn't he have to put something on his arm right there? And he put, and then that's when Isaac grabbed him and by his forearm, whatever. Look at that.
Wow.
So that means that he was dressing like them. Let's go back to what I said. What Amalek did to Rebecca and when they was in Gerar. You can't. How you gonna come out hairy and red all over just from the hell of it? The DNA had to. Some had to. He had to come from whatever caused him to be hairy and all that. He had to come from that. But see, anyway, I just want to show you that. And we looking over all that.
Historical Society. Another newspaper from May 5th, 1885 reads this. Last week, a small mound near Homer was opened by some schoolboys who found a skeleton. Today, a further search was made, and several feet below the surface, 15 feet high, the giant Farragus, slain by Orlando, the nephew of Charlemagne, according to reports.
Make sure they show you read.
If you have an enlarged prostate, do this 15-second Japanese ritual before bed to shrink.
They knew that was they know that's a known fact, and they just put it in the seats.
Was 28 feet
also
high.
go to, what's the name of that movie? Bram Stoker Dracula, the beast that slept with the girl in the garden. From Bram Stoker Dracula, that's how he looked. See that? Anyway, keep going. And he had piercing green eyes. Oh, that's, ain't no accident.
In 1814, near Saint Gernot, was found the tomb of the giant Isolent, who was not less than 30 feet high. In 1590, near Rouen, was found a skeleton whose Genesis, which is the first book of the Hebrew Bible and the Old Testament, tells us the story of an ancient giant race called the Nephilim. The story of the Nephilim giants is further elaborated in another ancient manuscript, the Book of Enoch.
I told you about, see that? This is going over our head. I showed this yesterday.
Tells us the story of an ancient giant race called the Nephilim. The story of the Nephilim giants is further elaborated in another ancient manuscript.
Watch this.
The Book of Enoch. Apparently, the Watchers, who were fallen angels,
anyway, so anybody got any comments on that? I'm gonna go to something else. I want to show you that. Okay, let me see where I'm at. Yeah. Okay.
I just get so tired of them showing David and, anybody in the Old Testament is white. I mean, everybody's pale white. It's like they had the David and Goliath in that picture. I'm like, it looks like cartoonish now.
Right. There you go. Can you see that?
Yes.
The sons of God came into the daughters of men. They created a hybrid offspring who were called the Nephilim, or the fallen ones.
See, it's a hybrid. They killed the New Testament. See that? He said hybrid. They ain't from Adam. Come on.
They're referred to as the giants, or the mighty ones, and some believe they were between 8 and 15 feet tall.
See the red head? See, they make sure they show you that. All of them got red hair.
Also handed down in Sumerian languages that some of the gods had sex with humans and the offsprings
and this
were
giants. This is what I'm talking about right here. They're trying to say aliens. Well, Enoch can told you what they is. Who they are? They know aliens.
Mythology is full of giants, and we have to look at these old myths with modern languages. Change the word of angel into extraterrestrial. In the beginning of time, extraterrestrials had sex with humans. And the product of this sexual contact were giants. Is it possible that as geneticists continue to decode the human genome, they will find that among our various hominid ancestors is a missing link to enormous beings from another world? Ancient DNA is perhaps, for me, the most important area of study in all my work. Because there is the potential chance here that we find direct evidence in older Kabbalistic traditions.
See the mic.
That dates back to temple times.
Show you how slick they is. See that? Now they're in the garden. See, Adam got red hair. And he got red hair. See that? They didn't totally wiped out the validity of the New Old Testament. That's starting with they kind. See that?
Yeah, they want to act like black people didn't even exist at that time.
Exactly.
Right.
So all he picking up when they came into existence. See what I'm saying? And so all the Old Testament thrown off. So this right here, this redhead gonna lead you right to JC. Come on. Let's go back. Okay. Let's see. Play a little more of this.
Adam originally was, by our definition, a giant. That the original Adamic race was not of the same physical stature as we human beings are today. Some claim that the original Adamic race were giants.
See, they're just looking at that right there, telling you this, that, according to the protocol of the New Testament, it don't add up. These men over here can't came from the same place. These ain't no one blood. It's crazy. Okay. Man. Oh. Okay. Okay. So what we're looking at right here is I want to show you that. Okay.
Zig Germany.
So before all this intermixing and mingling and today's travel and all that, those redhead people was in a certain place.
2010.
That's where they was at.
Biologists, led by Svante Pabo
We see them all.
of the
We see it all over the
Max
place now,
Planck Institute
but
for Evolutionary Anthropology, make a stunning announcement. They have determined that early humans not only coexisted on Earth with other more primitive hominids, they also mated with them. But even more astonishing was their finding that another, as yet unidentified species may also be represented in human DNA.
Up until now, most people have been familiar with the typical DNA model of human evolution, in which you have a very nicely defined progression from previous types of human or hominid life up to anatomically modern humans. That's not true anymore.
You see that? That's not true anymore.
Seeing is evidence that there could have been interbreeding, what the actual mainstream media is calling mystery species of humans. Anthropologist from the University of Wisconsin, Dr. John Hawks, did a comprehensive analysis.
They want to talk about Mystery Babylon, but they don't want to talk about this mystery man.
Of human DNA going back for many thousands of years, and what he found was astonishing. If you look at the DNA from someone in 3000 BC, and you compare that to the DNA of someone alive today, it has changed by 7%.
Mapping the human genome, Dr. Hawks found that in the past 5,000 years, our DNA has evolved at a rate 100 times greater than any previous 5,000-year period in our history.
So what happened in the last 5,000 years that altered the structure of human DNA by 7%? Is it possible that extraterrestrial humans interbred with us sometime in the last 5,000 years, and that could account for these monumental changes in the structure of human DNA?
Could it be that our ancestors are not only hominids who lived here on Earth, but also beings from beyond our world? Ancient astronaut theorists claim that evidence of this can be found in stories throughout history that depict humans mating with gods.
Throughout world cultures and mythologies, this idea of otherworldly beings, gods, supernatural beings, demons, having...
Okay. Any comments? I'm going to play this here, and then if anybody have anything they want to say, we'll deal with it and then we'll close out. I just wanted to get this in everybody's head. When you're reading the scriptures, you lined out. Okay, let me get this. Okay, here we go. Can you hear that?
No.
Okay. Okay, well, but it's you can go watch it if you want to watch it. It's who were the Red-Headed Giants. It's about 4 minutes, and it just goes through and show you that what they said about how they came, these Red-Headed Giants, how they got to North America was so they came on rafts. But they got, like I was the first video, they found red bones of giants all over America. And when they dug the bones up, the skull still had the red hair on, like I just showed you. China. So this race of red-headed people was all over the whole planet. These were giants. Just like they got the megalithic sculptures, cities and all that all over the world. So these red head, fiery red hair is tied to the giants. That's the origins of it. Okay? That's got to be understood. Okay? Anybody got any comments on what they saw? What we talked about? Any comments?
Like I said, watching that video and understanding where JC comes from, and then you have our people trying to take him and put color on him, make his hair black.
Right.
It's sickening. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a big giveaway too, because you go to Daniel chapter 10, and describe Michael, and he got he burned his brass skin, and he got an afro. He got woolly hair. So this is what we just saw today is totally different. You can't get no fiery red stringy hair. No man with a woolly hair, and it was a lineage that go back before the flood. All of a sudden he gonna have a red-headed man. There had been a red-headed man that was in the picture. It's like with Cain. Cain was wicked as hell. There had to been somebody wicked that came in the garden for Cain to be so wicked. Adam ain't wicked.
Right.
So we ain't dealing with that. And we see how DNA works today. Yeah. You splice a tree. You take a peach and a grapevine and splice it and put it on and connect it to the peach tree, you're gonna get a different type of fruit. Because you done injected something else into the Most High, how you made the peach tree. So it's the same with that. You don't just get no hairy kid and red head out for the hell of it. It's something was injected in order for you to get it. Okay? So we can play this here and then we'll close out.
What if a black girl knew that she would be desired by others only if she desired herself? That beauty is not a shade but a mindset, and the best indicator of it is self-confidence. As I talk some sense, insert here confidence. What if a black girl knew that her lips were plump and beautiful, that she does not need to hold them in, make them thin, does not need to rely on Kylie Jenner to make her lips an attainable thing? What if a black girl knew that there is no such thing as a perfect nose, because the nose isn't meant to be perfect, it's meant to help you breathe. And if you can breathe, black girl, you've succeeded. So what if a black girl knew that to be ratchet is a culture defined by the black goddesses whose weave could be any color and whose speech could be any kind of cross from slang to misplaced grammar? Such creativity, so what does it matter? Miley Cyrus does not need to twerk to generate praise for our culture. But what if a black girl knew not to be bitter, that her father, like her sons, were raised by black hands, and you see in your father what you eventually see in your man, for the molding of your father came from similar hands. So if bitter is the sculptor, then how sweet can be the man? If bitter is a black girl, then how sweet can be our clan? What if a black girl knew that her rubies were hidden in the sand? What if a black girl knew that her hair too was like finely refined wool, and not a fiber of her hair was the opposite of cool, but it reflects on the outside, the struggle on the inside, where natural meets the straightness that we take to our hatred for ourselves that we project upon each other. But what if a black girl knew that history recorded her as the most sought after, that her bosoms were like raindrops that wouldn't dry after, that her body was a magnet to worldwide wonder, and the jealousy was so great that it polluted the perception of a black girl until 1,000 years later. Now what if a black girl knew that she was that same creature that drove slave masters from wicked hate right down to love by the curves in her figure? 8, but that figure, $8 billion figures in the bank account of that Coke Bottle Corporation launched by the shape of that same figure. 8. Figure out, black girl, figure out. The figures match. The years of social degrading deliver to the black girl's demise. Check your figures, media ratings. 1,000 Caucasians on the red carpet, only 2 black girls make the cut. And they wonder why we can't grow. Let me guess, because there are more dark girls than Lupita Nyong'o. But what if a black girl knew? The life is what you make of it, and opportunities are what you take from it. And there will be no female black president if no black girl wants to become it. What if a black girl knew not to be victim, not to be Pacquiao, but to be Floyd, because this Mayweather leaves sun rays on our lawn? What if a black girl stopped waiting for the defeat to spring from our floors? What if a black girl knew that she would no longer take the abusive relationship between her and the media, but decided to make wedding bands between her and her mirror? What if a black girl knew that change is possible and greatness is personal? And though it is black girls at the bottom of the social totem pole, pressure makes diamonds, so it's time, black girls, to make your diamonds glow. What if a black girl knew? 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 Knew.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna say shalom, and I'll see everybody tomorrow night for our Friday night Q&A. Shalom.
Shalom.
Okay.